Sebring, Riverside, Watkins Glen, Phoenix, Indianapolis, COTA, and soon Miami will have all hosted the United States Grand Prix. And while promoters of Formula One negotiated for 5 years, ending in 2018, the Windy City has never made that prestigious list. So today, after a little help from iRacing and NASCAR, with the real-world practical but never before used in real life, we have the Chicago Street Circuit lined up in front of a full field of the most talented sim racers of the historic open-wheeled discipline. Welcome to round 7 of the Lotus 49 Grand Prix Legends. You'll see it all live on the Global Sim Racing channel. Bringing you all the action today from Chi-Town is yours truly, Nick Schmeg, alongside Ryan Walker. Sean Crackers Ambrose is directing today's race, and as always, he'll be using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. For what's sure to be a memorable race for all, we're going to need a little insight on the track set before us today. And for that, let's head trackside for the GSRC Track Guide.
Welcome to the Chicago Street Circuit. NASCAR and iRacing teamed up to create a virtual street course made from real-world scan data of the Midwest's most famous city avenues. Sat right in the middle of skyscrapers, monuments, museums, and Lake Michigan, it's perhaps one of the most picturesque tracks on the surface. It clocks in at a little over 2 miles in length, which is about 3.5 kilometers, and includes 12 turns dispersed around it. The shape of the track might look simple, but tackling it is anything but. The turn from Lakeshore onto Roosevelt will be a fast and narrow single-file affair that tightens up on the exit. And the arc around Congress Plaza Drive forces drivers to feather the throttle while hugging the inside wall as tightly as they can. Expect most passes to be attempted on the turn into Balbo at either the first corner or turn 6. However, both have zero runoff, which means outbraking yourself will likely end your day prematurely. In general, the bumpy nature of the circuit and the closeness of the punishing walls means that survival is probably going to be the name of the game for most drivers. In the world of sim racing, we have unique opportunities to make our dreams into reality. And iRacing and NASCAR have done just that.
And there you see a little bit of inkling of what we know about the Chicago Street Circuit. Ryan, it's pretty often right now in the broadcast where you hear me say at this point something like, we don't really know what to expect out there today. But today, we really do not know what to expect.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this Chicago Street Circuit has not been around that long. It's only recently been released by iRacing. And this is the first time that the Lotus 49 series will be visiting here. This track has 12 turns and it's 2.14 miles in length. And the challenges of this track are going to be the close nature of the walls. If you even push too much around here, those walls are just waiting to suck you in or even bite. So if you make a mistake, that's pretty much a race over. And probably the best places to make a move is either into turn 1 or even into turn 6, with turn 7 being a slight possibility. And then you've got that kind of long left hander, turn 9, and then you've got that final corner, turn 12. So there's plenty of passing opportunities, but also on the other hand, these drivers are going to have to be on their toes.
Right alongside Lake Michigan here, just south of the Navy Pier, we'll be rounding Hutchinson Field, Buckingham Fountain, great part of Chicago. We've got some standings that these drivers have also got to deal with today. These drivers coming in with points right in the thick of it in the middle of this season. And it's Rob Olenek on top of things with a nice round 200 points. He'll be wanting to extend that today. Toby Cortiniemi is behind him with 20. Got some work to do. Mick Claridge, he was looking pretty fast this morning in practice. He is going to be certainly a threat to that top two. Bill Tyler, and Ove Trengrade behind 64 and 66 points back, trying to stay in that top 5. Ryan?
Yep, and then the F2 Championship is it's been led for most of the season, basically, by Finland's Pekka Risto with 101 points, and then 35 points further back, you've got Dave Colin from the United States in second, with Emmanuel Pereira from France rounding out the top three. And then you've got another Finnish driver, Hideki Koivisto, in fourth. And rounding out the top five, you've got Michael Grinziger. So, yeah, it's pretty much a two-horse race up at the top, or three-horse race when you look at it. But Risto and Colin are pretty much the main contenders in that championship.
And just like in classic Formula One, we've got the Nations Cup as well. Hey, the Olympics are going on right now. Chicago, I don't think, has ever hosted an Olympics. They've come close a couple times, though, and it's the United States on top of the medal count here. They've got Finland in second and the United Kingdom rounding out the podium. Norway and France also just peeking onto that graphic. It's been just about the same five all year, but the position of those five has been changing race after race. We'll have to keep up with that.
Yep, and here's the race details for today. This is the 7th round of the 12-round championship. The race length for today will be 24 laps, with max starters being 50. And then the setup, as always, is open, so you're free to make any changes, with the incident limits as always being 17x will be a penalty, or if you get to 25 or over, you will be automatically disqualified from the race.
I can't imagine 50 cars on this circuit. We've got 26 today, and I think that is going to be a headache. I was pretty impressed to see that many drivers willing to challenge this track. It's Mick Claridge on top of things, but there you see Rob Olenek rounding one of the several 90-degree turns here. There is actually a bit of elevation change here, right in the Midwest in Chicago, and oh man, you see just how narrow it gets through there. It is going to be tough. Passing certainly going to be a tough one out there, but these drivers, they've got to first of all focus on the 24 laps just to get around here. Olenek moves up into second with that lap, and Topi Kortaniemi is behind him in third. So it's the top three in points, just in a slightly different order for the podium right now.
Absolutely. As looking at Rob Olenek, still be currently second in the. And yeah, that final part of the track is pretty tricky, as it was watching Antti Kerinen as well, who just comes to a complete stop. Then Mick Claridge is coming across the line to complete another lap, and currently holds a pole position as Colin Bentley's coming across the line to complete his lap. But that'll be I think it'll be a 122. Yes, it is a 122.4, and that'll put him 11th on the grid.
Pretty quick times around here. 119 for Claridge, but a 120 for most of the rest of the drivers. As we get more and more now, 22 drivers have set a time. Here's Bruce Snelson riding in 11th place, coming to the end of his lap. Chris Murakami getting a little wiggly out of that turn there. Going to see that a lot today, I'm sure. Across the line, and not able to improve that lap.
That was right on board with Benjamin Zocco as well, and yeah, it's good to see Benjamin on track again, because he was out on track last week, and yeah, good to see him back again. He's currently 6th on the grid at the moment, and he's coming around the final few corners by the looks of it, or onto the back straight, sorry. But at the moment he's 6th on the grid. He actually comes across the line to completely lap. My bad.
And it looks like he's not able to improve on that time either. Donald Peak in the race today, running 18th right now. A 123, going to sneak him up into the top 20 for the start. Here's Eugenio Massa, a couple spots ahead in 15th. Murakami putting in some practice laps, it looks like. Definitely drivers are going to take advantage of all the practice they can get today. This is something that we did see in NASCAR, in the eNASCAR series, but haven't seen nearly anywhere else, especially, of course, we haven't seen it in real life. But nonetheless, an exciting track, a fun one to drive as well. Not really like any other street circuit, just because you get so much elevation change. And Ryan, the first thing I noticed driving this track is the bumps. They're everywhere. I mean, and that was, I can drive this in a bigger open wheel car, but in a Lotus 49, these drivers, I hope they've got dental insurance today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those tracks that we were talking about before the broadcast started. It's sort of like, especially this front straight. It's kind of like Long Beach in a way, but the same as Long Beach, where you've got the walls so close that you can't really if you make a mistake, you've got nowhere to go.
And the one part that I'm really nervous for the drivers for is that 8, 9, and 10 complex when they make that long carousel around the monuments here in downtown Chicago. And it gets so narrow through there. Not a great passing spot, but really they're just going to have to focus on keeping it in one piece. No runoff, of course, at this track, or most street circuits for that matter of fact. But we get down here, last couple of seconds. There you see. What a great, nice day out here in Chicago. Early morning as well. Illinois residents just waking up, and I think we've got the grid set. It's Mick Claridge, who's going to be on the pole, the only one to get a sub 120 time. He's going to be starting alongside Robbo in the number 2 machine. The number 3, right back there in third place, Topi Kortaniemi, is going to be alongside Antti Karanen in the 7. Bill Tyre, Benjamin Zocco, John Olsen, Janne Lehman is going to be in 8th, 9th, and 10th. Going to go to Pekka Risto and Laust Olsen.
Yep, Bruce Nelson starting in 11th was Colin Bentley alongside him in 12th. Robert Plumley in 13th with Chris Marikami 14th. Eugenio Massa 15th. Matthew Maudsley 16th. Michael Gingsinger in 17th. Donald Peake 18th. 19th is Dave Cohen, and rounding out the 20 is Andrew Eng.
And you've got Zocco, Nekas, Liston, Pavlovsky, Good, and Reynolds rounding out the field. Drivers gridding up pretty quickly, at least at the front of this thing. They're eager to get these 24 laps around Chicago going. It's the 1, 2, and 3 starting positions. 1, 2, and 3. Like you said, they've got that short straightaway down into turn number 1. A sharp left-hander. It's going to reverse back into a right-hander. All is quiet now, but not for long. Waiting on a couple drivers, I believe, at the back of the field, but they've got to hurry, make the last couple of setup changes and tweaks they need to get ready for the race today. Only got about 15 more seconds to get to the grid, but we've got a lot of drivers here, 26 in the field today, and it looks like they're all here. Here we go. Lights are up in Chi-Town. The Windy City hosting historic Formula One action. Lights are out and away they are. Mick Claridge with a great start. It was an even better start behind him for Rob Olenek. Down to the inside. He has the preferred line. They make it side by side, and it's Mick Claridge who's going to sneak away with the lead.
Yeah, Mick Claridge was under attack there from Olenek, but Olenek couldn't really do anything, but still Claridge holds the lead as they come onto this back straight now, and look at the pack of cars coming down as well. And this is the part I was talking about that's really tricky to get right, because if you carry too much speed you can just hit the wall, but at the moment it looks like Claridge is through there cleanly with Olenek and Kortaniemi as well, and it looks like it's been so far so good on lap 1.
Up they charge through South Columbus Drive into the tight left and right-hander over the bumps, and soon they'll be around that monument section. They've got some elevation change to deal with here. It's Mick Claridge 1, Olenek 2, and Kortaniemi 3, just like they started.
Yep, at the moment it looks like Claridge is starting to slowly pull away from Olenek at the moment as they come around the final corner now, the final couple of corners to come across the start-finish line now. And as Mick Claridge comes across the line now to complete the first lap, or just about comes across the line to complete the first lap.
Kortaniemi really had his hands full through turn number 10, and he is still gaining on Olenek, I think. Claridge had a fantastic first lap, able to pull away just a little bit from him. 1 down, 23 to go for the Lotus 49 Grand Prix Legends. Had a couple drivers in the pits further back with some issues. Sounds like Pekka Risto. Sounds like Bruce Nelson had an incident. back in the number 9 car there. Coming over the crest. See what happened to Snelson. That's a little bit of traffic ahead of him. Oh, man. Rush hour in Chicago. Laust Olsen was the first one, I think, that got upside down. That is not how you want your day to go. Oh, man. All was so clean and calm up front, Ryan, and in the back, it just all broke loose.
Yeah, that was what I was talking about. With this being a street track and the walls being so close, mayhem can ensue, and unfortunately, Laust Olsen was one of those people caught up in it. And yeah, it's not the way you want to start your race, like you mentioned.
Now, am I seeing things, or has Mick Claridge picked up maybe a little bit of front nose damage leading the race?
Yeah, I was just about to mention that myself, and I don't. He's not caught the wall from what I see, but riding on board with third place Topi Cortinemi, he's got a great run. On second place, Rob Olnick is ahead down this long sweeping section, and not close enough to make a move. And I think this corner you can't really make a move either, because it's so tight. It's basically just basically one line section. But again, Cortinemi has got a great run on Olnick. Can he get the move up down the inside? He's going for it.
He's got the space, but Olenek hangs tough on the outside. He kissed the wall just a little bit a couple of turns ago, but that doesn't stop him from defending for second place as they get back towards the front straightaway here. And yeah, for the time being, give that spot to Olenek. And you know, Ryan, we mentioned maybe a little bit of nose damage for a couple of drivers today, not just for Claridge, but for a couple of drivers I'm seeing. That is simply because these bumps and the car here, the suspension just points your car down, at your nose just hits the ground, and you get some dents on the bottom of this thing. It's going to be interesting to see how that progresses over the course of today's race.
Yeah, absolutely. As further back in the pack, we've got the battle for 11th place going on between Chris Marikami and Roman Pawlowski as well. So great to see Roman back on track as well. A name that we're familiar with, not just in the Lotus 49, but also in the Campbell GP series as well, which takes place on a Saturday afternoon. We're riding on board the Marikami at the moment. I think it could be a matter of time before Pawlowski makes a move on Marikami rather, and gets by.
And Pawlowski started this race in 24th. He's already up to 12th. So Roman looking at 11th place here. A fantastic run for him today so far. A little puff of smoke there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was riding on board with Pawlowski as well, and not close enough to make the move by the looks of it. But I think maybe just hold him back. I think, and maybe not wanting to push too early at this stage of the race.
Past the monuments, it gets so narrow through here. The battle for second continues to rage on between Olenek and Cortiniemi. This is not just a battle on track, but also a battle in the points. They're going to start to think about that more and more as this season winds down. Man, so close to that inside wall went Topi right there in turn number 12. He's able to get a good run on him, but he's just not able to get up the pass done because Olenik's able to hang tough on the outside as Olenek has a big slide there at the exit of turn 1.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the street tracks as well. It's really, really difficult to make a move. It's sort of like Monaco in a way. You can't really do anything just because it's such a tight track, and most of the time on a street track, the only way you can get by is by someone in front of you making a mistake.
And that could quite easily happen. I think it just happened to Chris Murakami because Roman Pawlowski has gotten by. He's moved that number 8 car from 24th all the way up to 11th on today's grid. Robert Plumley just ahead of him. The next victim, perhaps, looking for a top 10 spot. This little 3-car train right in front of them. Colin Bentley had a quiet day so far in the number 10 car. I think Pawlowski's got Robert Plumley a little flustered right now. He's coming with a full head of steam. And just as there are very few good passing opportunities here, or easy passing opportunities, I should say, Ryan, it's got to be just as nerve-wracking, not just being the one to make the pass, but the one to defend from the pass.
Yeah, absolutely. I think on a street track, if you're the person that's under pressure and someone's trying to make a move on you, it can be a little bit tense as well, as we've got a back marker moving wide. As Pawlowski just about runs into the back of Plumley by the looks of it.
That was close. Plumley's able to keep the position for now. Colin Bentley has lost some time, so they're closing in on him a little bit. He got held up by the lap traffic as well. Sliding through there, wow. Good couple of battles all over the track. John Olsen is doing the same. He's trying to defend right now from Benjamin Zocco in the 5. Both of these drivers started right together, 6th and 7th. They have flip-flopped from where they've started, though. Olsen is able to get, he got around Zocco on lap number 1.
Yep, and it was like Zocco's still managing to hold on. And it's a great battle between these guys. And John Olsen is one of those drivers that I've been watching a lot this season, or the past couple of seasons. He's definitely improved, and it's good to see him up there in the top 10 and 6th place at the moment, and also good to see Benjamin having a great run at the moment as well.
A lot of drivers further back having to take to the pits. We're down to 17 drivers on the lead lap now. On board with Zocco here. You can see just visibly how bumpy this track is. It's a handful for the cars, it's a handful for the drivers. Takes a lot of work, a lot of focus, really. I don't know if it's more physical or mental strength to get around here.
Yeah, I dread to think on a street track as well with so many bumps. I dread to think what it's like on a direct drive wheel as well with that amount of force going through the wheel. But most of these guys seem to be coping with it fairly well at the moment.
He had an issue. He just clipped the inside wall, the pit exit. Not the pit exit, but one of the access roads. He hasn't lost any positions, but he lost a little bit of time. That's the good thing about these old open-wheeled cars, Ryan, is that you can knock around a little bit and hit the wall, but you don't want to do it too much.
Yeah, absolutely not. If you even hit the wall too much to these cars, or clip it too much even, these cars can get a little bit of suspension damage, but like you say, these cars are pretty much built fairly well and fairly tough, and they can take a beating, that's for sure.
Certainly can. They don't build them like this anymore. It's not an understatement. And Pawlowski, certainly that didn't hinder his confidence at all, because he is still right to the back, right underneath the gearbox of Robert Plumley. He's searching around the track, trying to get a good line, and man, he's certainly closing, but he's just not able to get up there and contend for that position yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought he clipped the inside wall there, but yeah, just when I saw the smoke, I thought something happened. But yeah, these three are pretty much close together, and Pawlowski, I think he's quick out of the lot as Mick Claris again puts in another fast lap of the race, and Pawlowski gets so close to the wall.
Yeah, I think he's struggling a little bit through that monument section, trying to find a quicker line, trying to gain just a couple tenths more momentum. Gets a little sideways out of turn number 12. Let's see what kind of run he can muster up down the front stretch.
He's sneaking out to take a look, but not close enough to make a move. I think he's just pulling out there just to show that he's there and maybe try and intimidate Plumley a little bit. But as back up at the front, the battle for second place is going on between Ulrich and Cortinelli rather, and this is allowing Mick Claris to just pull away and build up a bit of a gap. But I take that back, Claris is not pulling away as much as I thought he would, so maybe just taking it a little bit easy.
Oh, Robert Plumley might have spoken too soon, because Robert Plumley has spun it. all by himself.
Whoa! Yeah, he just spun it by himself. Just lost the rear end on the entry, and luckily, and something's happened to Kerrinan as well.
Ooh, from 4th place. Let's see if we can find what happened. This looks like it was quite a while ago. Oh, he might have just pulled off by himself, actually. So Kerrinan with some kind of issue behind the scenes. That's going to knock him out of 4th place. That's going to promote Bill Tyler. He's been running a race all by himself today. Haven't mentioned him yet since the grid. He's got 10 seconds ahead of him and 5 out the rear view mirror. That's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. He's definitely doing well, and he's always been a consistent driver as Bill Tyler, and having a good run in 4th position at the moment. No one challenging him and no one in front of him. So just pretty much a nice quiet race at the moment for him.
You mentioned Ryan McClarridge. Yeah, you're right. You're not able to pull away as much as I would have thought for as much as Olenek and Kortsuniemi have been battling or neck and neck behind him. I think they might be starting to work together because Kortsuniemi has let off Olenek just a little bit. I think they're trying to catch Claridge. He's only got about a 1.5 lead.
Yeah, Olenek gets a bit sideways on the exit of the final corner, but I think you could be right. I think him and Kortsuniemi is working together to try and close this gap down as Claridge heads through turn 1, and in the background there you see Olenek and Kortsuniemi there, slowly but surely closing the gap.
Like this is the closest battle on track. I think Andrew Ang is in a little bit of a battle for 12th. Eugenio Massa trying to fend him off. He's done a good job so far. Massa's gone from 15th to 12th on the grid. Not as good as Andrew Ang, who's gone from 20th to 13th on the grid. A little bit of attrition, of course, has helped both of these drivers get to where they are. Well, they've kept it clean. Credit where credit's due. Camera shot by Dougie Beard makes these cars look so fast around these turns.
They do indeed, and that's the fun of these street tracks as well. You don't always have to be the quickest. You can just keep out of trouble and just get through the not the wrecks but brace the attrition. You can make fairly good progress, and at the moment it's Andrew Enge having a great drive at the moment.
Certainly is. Driver out of the Midwest. Wonder how much of a home track this is for him. Looks like that gap for 2nd place has closed back up. Any theory about Kortsuniemi trying to work together with Olenek, I think that's out the window. I think Topi, he's cut it down to 0.3 of a second. He is putting the pressure on as we are just about halfway through this race, working on lap 12 of 24. I don't know about you, Ryan, but watching these onboard shots, seeing how close these drivers are getting to really to a DNF, when you think about, I mean, what it would mean if they were able to, if they just clipped the wall just slightly, it is getting my blood pressure going.
Yeah, I'm just watching these guys getting really close to the wall, and every time they do get close to the wall, I can't help but hold my breath, because yeah, street tracks, it's a fun challenge, that's for sure. But from my experience of racing on them, in the past, if you get close to the wall, it's basically hold on and hope for the best.
A lot of practice has gone into this one, I'm sure, more than most weeks for these drivers. Just an unknown challenge to them, really. These cars have got a real-world history, like you said, on street circuits, though. I mean, Monaco is the obvious one that comes to mind, but, you know, the street circuits all over the world, these cars have mastered and done pretty well. They've jump to the railroad tracks at Watkins Glen. I figure once you get past that, you've got a car that is built pretty well.
Indeed, there's Olenek and Courtenay are still close now, and I have to say Olenek's doing a great job of handling the pressure well as he gets so close. Oh, I thought I clipped it there, but doing a good job of handling the pressure from Courtenay.
And Claridge has a little bit of lap traffic. Jordan Zoko held him up a little bit, not intentionally, of course, just caught him in a bad spot on track. So I wonder if that's going to help Olenek at all. Well, I think Olenek's also going to be held up by the same traffic here. So it might even things out a little bit. Let's see what Courtenay can do, though. I've been watching Topi the last couple laps. He likes to hang back, brake earlier, a little bit earlier than everyone else, and get that big run as he gets the power down quicker than everyone else.
Yeah, I've noticed that with some drivers as well. They like to use that. They like to brake early and use that slow and fast out approach. And for Courtenay, it seems to be working for him. And he seems to be, like you say, he seems to be able to get a great run in most of these corners and get really close to Olenek. But on the other hand, Olenek seems to be able to get a great run in the exit and just pull away slightly.
This long left-hander, I haven't quite seen. Everyone's been running a slightly different line. It's so narrow through there. These drivers, I think, are still trying to figure it out. We saw Pavlovsky hugging that inside wall. We saw Courtenay swinging it wide like you kind of do at the Road America carousel. That's one that is really tricky for these guys. It kind of disrupts the flow of their lap, it looks like, and they're still trying to figure this out. They might still not know what the best line there is by the end of this thing.
And I've just noticed up at the front as well, Mick Claridge, the gap to him from Olenek has came down to 0.7 of a second now, so I don't know if Claridge has made a mistake or if he's just backed off slightly, but that gap's fallen down quite dramatically.
Yeah, it's been cut in half, practically. Claridge would love to see Courtenay dive to the inside of Olenek in one of these turns and make a move. He'd love to see them start battling aggressively again. But right now, he's got nothing but Olenek to deal with. Doesn't look like any lap traffic ahead of him for quite a while. Well, I guess he's got Bob Reynolds in front of him that he'll get out of the way there to the inside, and that is not a great spot to catch him, but great for Reynolds to get out of the way he did there.
Yeah, absolutely. He moved, he moved to the right straight away when he saw him coming, so it was good heads-up driving from him. As Claridge, Olenek and Courtenay come across the line now, and the gap is down to 0.6 of a second now, so I don't know if Claridge has clipped the wall or if he's just maybe backed off slightly, but that gap, we've got a freeway fight for the win now.
Well, we talked about that. Oh, into the wall goes Courtenay just slightly. He caught it at a pretty good spot. Well, watch, here he is on board, the Finnish driver. Oh.
Oh, and he spun.
Oh, you're right. He has gone around. He's gone around just over the bridge. Must have had some bigger issues underlying in that number 3 car. Oh, man. To the front here, Mick Claridge. That's going to put Bill Tyler, by the way, up into 3rd place. But right now, Mick Claridge leading Olenek. Bill Tyler, what a race he's had. We talked about him a couple of laps ago. Just how consistent he's been today. Kept it clean. Great on the New Yorker to get around here and possibly, with 8 laps to go, score a podium.
Yeah, he's been having a great run. It's pretty much been a quiet race for him for most of it so far. But yeah, he's having a great race up into third place now of that issue for Cortinemi, and Benjamin Zocco up into fourth place now as well. So yeah, it's again proof that you don't have to be quick around here, but just keep out of trouble, and you can gain in places rather.
And Claridge has got some traffic ahead of him. They've got a battle ahead of him, actually. A battle for 11th between Eugenia Massa and Andrew Eng that we watched earlier. Now, Eng is going to pull himself out of that battle for 11th to let Claridge go by. How about that? That is sportsmanship at its finest. That'll set Eng back big time. Now Massa and Karenin battle ahead of him. Oh, and Claridge to the inside of Massa in a tough spot.
Oh, I'm amazed that never ended up in contact between the both of them.
Olenek also going to be able to get by him. A little bit better of a spot on track. Across the line they go for 7 laps left here at Chicago. That put a little bit of a gap in between them. Once again, it's back up to about a second. But now that Olenek has no one behind him to battle with, I think this is going to put all his focus, 100% laser beam focus ahead of him on that number 1 car of Mick Claridge.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know what, Rob Olenek, he's one of the quickest drivers in this car, and he can give Claridge a good run for his money as he just watching in the background there. That gap's starting to come down yet again. The gap's about 1.1 seconds, but Olenek, I think now, like you say, I think he'll have full focus and concentration now in front of him. He'll just focus on Claridge.
Let's go back for a moment to Massa and Eng. Now, Eng has caught him. I don't know if Massa also let off to let this happen, or if Eng just simply was quick enough to catch him.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of Massa just slowing down to let the leaders through, and that gap to Eng's came down now as well. I think Andrew Eng looks to be the quicker driver out of these two, and I think. But again, it's getting by on a street track is so difficult. I think the only chance you can get by Massa is if he makes a mistake.
We've seen quite a few of those today, but none from these two so far. They've been pretty consistent. They've kept it clean, dealt with traffic well, and a little bit of an offline situation there for Massa. A little bit of an awkward, shallower entrance there that he had. That allowed Eng to close right up. And now that we've had a little bit of attrition inside the top 10, this now is not a battle for 11th, but for a top 10 spot.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys have been having a great race, and Andrew Eng's definitely getting a little closer to Eugenio Massa now, and he's got a great run round this long left-hander and right-hander heading into the final couple of corners. Can you get a good exit and try and get close to Massa head down to turn 1?
Oh, good action up for 6th place. It's Pavlovsky trying to close in on Yanni Lehman. They were having some issues getting around Baron Nikas here, but Pavlovsky continues his run forward through the grid. We don't have to go there, but Antti Karenin has been able to rejoin the race a couple laps ago. He's only 2 laps down, actually, so quite a while ago. Had some software issues, we understand, and back in 13th place. So good for Karenin to at least be able to come back and salvage a finish here.
Indeed. Watching Yanni Lehman in 6th position at the moment. He's under under attack from Pawlowski, and Pawlowski closes right up on the braking and gets a great run in the exit, and they not close enough to make a move. They've got a bar marker in front of them, and Yanni Lehman gets held up.
That was Jordan Zoko, and Pawlowski, even though he touched the wall coming out of the final turn there, he was able to get by, but now strong back on the inside is Yanni Lehman. He is not letting this one go. They'll have to subside for a little bit here to let Pawlowski through, but I don't know if he's going to be able to catch him. That might be the done deal there. Because once Pawlowski gets by you, we've seen today, he kind of sails away. It's going to take a lot from Lehman to get back to him.
Indeed, and Lehman's not giving up by any means, but it looks like Pawlowski is slowly pulling away. And as Lehman gets a little bit sideways on the exit there, but I have to say that was a very good opportunistic move by Pawlowski. He saw the opportunity and he pounced.
A little bit of a lockup there for Pawlowski. Lehman gets right back to him, but has a terrible right-hand turn. Can't quite get the momentum where he wanted it to. These drivers all over the track searching for anything here to gain an advantage on one another. Who will come out with 6th place today? Back up front, bit of a gap has reopened for Mick Claridge. His heart rate's come down just a little bit, I'd imagine. Rob Olenek, fantastic run today. Great battling. Great heads up from him. But right now, starting second, looks like it's going to be a 2nd place finish the way things are going with just 2.5 laps to go. Closest battle on track right now, still that Pawlowski-Lehman battle for 6th place. The rest of them, I believe, have sorted themselves out. Drivers been pretty satisfied of where they're going to be finishing today. Not so much for Lehman. He'd like to get this one back.
Indeed, as the gap up at the front is still just under 2 seconds, and I think it's just at this point anyway, Claridge is just maintaining the gap, but for the battle for 6th place and 7th place is still going on between Pawlowski and Lehman, and I thought Pawlowski would have pulled away, but nope, Lehman's definitely not giving up, that's for sure.
Over that bridge and down to the right-hand turn. It's so narrow through here. Drivers have done a good job managing it today. A little bit of traffic ahead of them. They both get by nicely. It works out better for Lehman. This right-hander is tight as well, though. Not able to get the power down where he wanted it. Back over to the right side of the track. They go into, they lock up the brakes, and Lehman's going to have to let him go just a little bit. That got tight. He's not giving up yet, though. He charges right back. Kudos to Lehman, his tenacity. Looking back from Pawlowski, I think Roman's just having fun right there in the 8 car today. What a run.
Yeah, he's having a great run. After starting 24th, he was up into 6th place, and that run on a street track is just unbelievable, as Mick Claridge comes across the line to start the final lap now, but still looking at this battle, and Pawlowski, I think, is just grinning from ear to ear, and I think Lehman will be doing the same thing, as Pawlowski actually locks up and runs slightly wide.
Let's see if Lehman can cross him over. Pawlowski's going to be defensive. Oh, they almost touch. Lehman has to let off the gas. A great line by Pawlowski. He's going to get a big run through here. He sets it up. What can he do? Keeping one eye on this, one eye on our leader, Mick Claridge. He's halfway through his white flag lap. Back over the bridge, Pawlowski and Lehman go. And that is where Pawlowski has the advantage. Lehman just can't get a great run on him. Gets it down tight, but can't make anything of it. Oh, man. Such hard work by both of these, especially Jan and Lehman. You got to feel for him a little bit here. Mick Claridge, though. What a race he's had out of the final turn today. He started up front. He led them all. Mick Claridge wins at the Chicago Street Circuit. Rob Olenek behind him across the line. A solid second place run for him. And Bill Tyler, he's quite a ways back, but he doesn't care because he's going to be standing tall on the podium. The number 4 car. A clean run, a consistent run, a podium run for the New Yorker. Bill Tyler across the line to take home the bronze. It's Pawlowski and Lehman back for 6th place. Lehman not giving up yet. He's got just a couple more opportunities. He's going to have to full send it here into this final right-hander. He sets it up. He braked early in the last one. Pawlowski, oh, he's going to lock up the right side. Jana Lehman not able to get to him in a well-deserved 6th place for Roman Pawlowski. Eugenio Massa, Andrew Ang, a good battle back there, but that was a lap down, it looks like. So that will be, it looks like, all of our lead lap finishers today as Mick Claridge takes home the crown at Chicago. We're going to step aside here for just a moment on the Global Sim Racing channel. When we come back, driver interviews and a full rundown of results. The streets of Chicago are a little bit quieter after the 24 laps that have culminated here. It's still early morning, 8:30 a.m. virtual standard time. But Mick Claridge, he is going to take the rest of the night off. I think he's got the win. Well, we'll probably see him back later. But Mick Claridge is going to come back with the win here today in Chicago. Rob Olenek right behind him in second, a hard-fought second-place finish. Bill Tyler talked about just how great his run was today. He'll be bringing it home with a podium. It's Benjamin Zocco and John Olsen rounding out the top 5. Roman Pavlovsky from 24th on the grid to 6th. Safe to say he is by far the hard charger in Chi-Town today. Jana Lehman, what a fight he put up. He's going to have to settle for 7th. Chris Murakami, Matthew Maudsley, going to be home in 8th and 9th on the lead lap. And then Eugenia Massa, the first one a lap down to round out the top 10.
Finishing in 11th was Andrew M. with Antti Kerinen two laps down in 12th, with Topi Kortinemi in 13th, 14th Robert Plumley, 15th Baron Neckis, Jordan Zocco 16th, 17th Robert Reynolds, Bruce Nelson 18th, 19th Colin Bentley, and Don Good, one of the retirements, in 20th.
Right back behind them, it's Donald Peak, Griesinger, Liston, Cohen, Last Olsen. We saw him flipping end over end at the start of this thing, and Pecaristo will round out the 26-car field today. But that 26-car grid was dominated by none other than Mick Claridge, who we've got standing alongside us. Mick, congrats on the first win here at the Chicago Street Circuit. How did you like it out there?
Oh man, wow! I can't believe we've all made it. Well, some of us didn't, did we? But yeah, I can't believe I finished. I'll tell you what. I mean, we've had such. Well, I've had such a hard week trying to get ready for this race, and it's Toppy's fault because he posted a lap time on Sunday night. He said he'd done a 1:19.7 in such and such temperature, and I was practicing the day before and I was nowhere near it. I was in the high 20s and I was like, right, okay, I don't want this to keep going the way it is all season, you know. So I must have done 200 laps by Monday just to be able to be on pace with Toppy. I think out of all of us, Toppy was slightly quicker. He was quicker than me in practice earlier. So yeah, real shame he messed up, and it was a shame he messed up in qualifying. Really, he was quicker in. It should have been quicker in qualifying. So yeah, so man, I've had such a good week out of just, you know, putting in some hard laps. You know, I must have done 500, 600 laps, and won all the races I entered. So, and I'll tell you what, I have to give Rob a shout out. He's probably listening. He drove really well today because he's crashed out of every other race he's entered, and to be able to finish and still sort of be on some sort of pace, you know, at the end was pretty good from him. And he's really saved his championship hopes with that.
Wow, absolutely. Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, me and Ryan were talking about how we wouldn't want to do 24 laps around here, let alone a couple hundred. That's insane. But hard work has certainly paid off. Do you think you'll be able to take this momentum into Barcelona next week?
I hope so, because I sort of learned a bit more about the setup of the car. I learned that a certain setting on the car is like really sensitive, and I can sort of get a nice sort of chassis based around everything I normally do, and then that particular setting, I'll tell everyone what it is. It's roll bars. If you want to change the handling of the car, just go with your roll bars. It really, really makes a massive difference. And so that's what I did. I found that out early on the week. And this, I'll tell you what, Nick, this week has been one of those weeks where you just turn up at the track in whatever practice session, whatever. You do an out lap, you do a hot lap, and then you crash. And I guarantee you that everyone has been doing that all week. Hardly anyone has said that they've been able to do a race stint, you know, so it really has been hard. I mean, we thought Bathurst was hard last week. This is beyond Bathurst, I tell you.
You want to see the Grand Prix legends return here?
Yeah, I really like. I like any street courses. Yeah, I think they're brilliant, especially Long Beach. I love them. But yeah, this I don't really know what it's like for overtaking. It's probably quite tough. I don't know what you guys saw in regards to that. I mean, I know Toppy was having a tough time getting around Rob. So yeah, not so sure about what it's like on overtaking. But man, I'll tell you what, just eyes on stalks. You know, finally blink after the race. You know.
Yeah, you know it's a pretty good race when you don't have to overtake anyone and you still get the job done. I know you already gave Robbo a shout out, but anyone else you want to thank before we let you go here?
There's loads of guys. I'm going to name a few. There's more. Mike, couple of Mikes. Jamie, Steve. They're the Mackenzie boys. Don't mess with the Mackenzie boys. and a couple of others I can't remember. And you guys are brilliant.
It was certainly a very fun race to call. Thanks for that, Mick. Congrats on the win as well. And now we've got Robbo standing beside us, just 3 seconds back with 2.9. I'll do it justice. Standing alongside Ryan.
Yeah, Rob Owen was having a great battle with Torpi Cortinemi until Torpi had his issues. And Rob, congratulations on second place, first of all, and keeping your championship hopes alive. But it looked like a fantastic but tense race from your view.
That was probably the most stressful race I think I've ever had in iRacing, and freaking toughest week, toughest track. I'd struggled all week, set the car up, and basically I felt like I just sucked all week long. Like, well, sometimes it takes a while to get up to pace, for me. And this week, I had my doubts, started doubting, like, Jesus, maybe I just can't drive anymore. But this track's so bumpy. I ended up last night, I crashed out of both of the races that I was in, like, in 3 laps. So I didn't even have any, like, full race kind of practice. When you're in the race, you sort of forces you to drive within yourself a little more than when you are just practicing. You kind of pushing, trying to see the limits in practice. And you definitely around here, you're probably never going to make a race length practice. But really hard. And last night I just decided to start really going wacky with setups. I went to no ARBs, soft on everything, tried that. I normally run really kind of a stiff suspension. I ended up with the soft settings, front and rear on ARB, and the first click up, the smallest bar, like 0.3 something on front and back. And it finally, it was to the point where it felt like the car was consistent lap to lap and I could drive it. I didn't even care if it was fast or not. At that point, I just needed to make it to the end of the race. And I started getting really comfortable with it. And I think I probably had the pace to maybe get a win. I think Topi's probably the quickest around here. Mick was a little quicker than me, but putting down a great lap time when it really counts in the race is really hard here. Like, if you're on the limit always, you're never going to finish. You got to drive a little within yourself at a place like this. And I was thinking about that the whole race. I'm like, just don't crash out. Like, you got to just make it to the end. Like second place for me after this week is a win.
Yeah, and Dave, Nick was talking to Mick about, would you like to see you come back to this track?
Yeah, I think I haven't figured it out yet, and I mean, it takes a lot at this place. I think it really is the hardest track I've driven in the 49 by a good amount.
And then lastly, before we let you go, Rob, is there anyone that you want to give a thank you or a shout out to?
You guys, 49 community, Dirty Torque, and the McKenzie boys.
Well, again, congratulations on second place, Rob, and look forward to seeing you on track at Barcelona next week.
Okay, cool. See you guys.
As that was second place finisher, Rob Olnick. And I believe up next, Nick, you have got a fourth place finisher, rather, Benjamin Zocco standing by with you.
Indeed, I do. Rob Olenek just told us that this was the hardest track he's ever driven the Lotus 49 on. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so. Next to Belle Isle, the other street tracks, tough. And I love Belle Isle. That's like my favorite iRacing track. So looking forward to going back there next season. And I definitely enjoyed this one. I love the 90 rights and everything like that. And I think this is a really fun challenge. And I can echo everything that the other guys have been saying, where it's like I could do maybe a 119, a high 119 in practice if I got everything right. But although 120s in the race, you can't go anywhere near it. And when I could see Bill Tyler up ahead, I thought I could probably catch him up. But when you push, you make mistakes and you go even slower. And there's so many moments in that race I thought I was going to die. And that just makes it, that's why I love these street tracks, because you can have a kind of boring race out on your own with no one to race against. But you have like 5, 10, 15 oh crap moments where you think you're going to die. I glanced at the wall at one stage. I thought that was the end. It makes it really exciting. So I really enjoy these tracks, and I hope that we keep putting it on the rotation for the schedule.
It was certainly a lot of fun to watch. You were talking about just how, how much adrenaline you had needed to, you got every lap going around these turns. We were watching the onboards, and it was just crazy. I'm glad it wasn't me down there, to say the least. I'm glad, but you had a good 4th place run today. The only difference you had between Mick and Rob, who we just spoke to earlier, is that you actually had to pass some people out there today. You got up there to 4th place. How was it to be back in traffic?
Yeah, it was. I didn't get a great start, and everyone was being cautious, which was good. But there was one guy I haven't raced with before, going side by side with me on the opening lap, and so I had to give him plenty of room, and that kind of slowed me down a bit, which meant I lost touch with Bill, and I think I got passed by John. If that was how it worked, I can't really remember, but I just had to pressure them into mistakes, which they both did, thankfully, and didn't take me out with them. And so I didn't get to do any awesome moves. I was trying to set one up on John, but he made a mistake that let me get by. But then I almost made a mistake, which nearly killed me. But yeah, this track is just so much fun. I could just keep lapping it forever. You have to aim at the walls. You have to aim the car at the wall and then expect to miss it. And you'll do a lap and think, oh geez, I'm slow, like what Rob was saying, and then the next lap it will feel like you've done the exact same thing, but you'll be like a second faster, and you're like, what did I do differently? I don't know. So it's a bewildering track, but it's a lot of fun. I hope we keep getting more of these street tracks, even if they don't provide the best overtaking chances. They're certainly fun to race a 49 on, because it's just white knuckles the whole way.
They're certainly fun to watch. Like I said, I'm very glad you all down there on the track had a great day today. And congrats on the 4th place finish, Ben. I hope we were able to see you at Barcelona. Anyone you want to give a shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, give a shout out to my brother who started to join us in iRacing and in the Lotus 49. Jordan, he was in the broadcast last week and this week. So let's keep going. Hopefully he can learn the ropes, get up to speed, and be battling up in the midfield with me soon.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. This is such a great community to be a part of. So, Ben, glad to have you and your brother here today. And like I said, congrats on that top 5 today.
Thank you very much. Thanks, GSRC. We'll see you next time.
That's Benjamin Zoko coming home with a 4th place finish today. That is going to wrap things up today from the Windy City. And hey, we want to give a special thank you to everyone who came out today for the 7th round of the Lotus 49 Sunday Grand Prix Legends, including all the drivers who put on the show for us today. An additional thanks to all the amazing companies that provide the software and hardware that we use to create a GSRC production for you. We also, of course, want to thank the very talented June DeLond, who provides our music. See the screen for more on how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the crew today in the booth, Ryan, Sean, and Dougie. And don't forget to check us out on social media. You can go to our website, globalsimracingchannel.com, where you can see all our broadcasts there. You can also go to our Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook, Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram, GSRC_Graham. You've already found our YouTube channel, of course, as well, so if you haven't done so yet, I invite you to scroll down just a touch and hit that big red subscribe button so you don't miss a second of action. The Camel GT series is up next. I'm sure we'll see some more familiar names in that one, but they'll be racing at the Charlotte Roval today. They've got a challenge today. It's indeed at 1 p.m. Eastern time, so be sure to hop on over there with us. To see more of today's racing, like we already mentioned, we will be back next Saturday. Same place, same time here on GSRC, but we'll be headed to Barcelona's historic layout. Always a fun one over there. Finally, with all that being said, thanks so much for joining us on the show today. Until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.